Oh boy, so this one is about doppelgangers. Um, yeah, like, when you notice specific things about people and situations and you don't know what to call it, so you just think, well, why is this person imitating me? Why are they talking like me? Why are they copying my mannerisms? Or I wore an outfit like that before. I thought it was just a mere coincidence, but it's not. When you're dealing with people who are mimicking you or copying you, and it's happening in a repeated fashion, there's something to it that's a lot deeper than the surface. So picture this. Let's say, for example, you're out at an event and you encounter an individual masquerading as an exact snapshot or picture of you from a photo you've taken at a certain time in your life. And you recognize the outfit or the color scheme or the jacket or a scarf that belonged to you 10, 15, 25 years ago. What would you think? Let me explain how doppelganging works. When you're dealing with manipulation, I'll call it, they will fixate on your likeness in photos or in person. Okay. In some instances, doppelganging is them mocking you rather than emulating you or being inspired by you. Sometimes this happens because whoever is focusing on you is at a loss of identity, like an identity, or ideas. In some cases, I'll explain this a little more in detail, by them dressing like you or copying how you're dressed, they're staging the environment that you'll be in. So, for example, if they've been surveilling you, so I'm talking about in the case of like court cases or police officers, they're capturing photos of you. So if they've taken photos of you dressed a certain way before, so let's say you wear a specific kind of shirt, or you carry a backpack, or you wear certain kind of sneakers, that is a type of doppelganging process. So when they're dressed like you or someone you know, they're staging the environment that they think you'll be in. So it can be your neighborhood, it could be your workplace, it could be a party or an event, it could be somewhere you frequent. So by them mimicking or doppelganging the way you're dressed, you have your attention on them, and they now know that you may know you're being watched. Okay. In more interpersonal cases, they are obsessed with you. And if they don't know how to interact with you naturally or get to know you as a real person, by them studying you and grabbing components of what they see in your physical appearance, this is a type of doppelganging. In some cases, some people are not able to socialize. They have a problem socializing. So they can only assess a person by appearances. And so by assessing them through appearances, they're looking at things like brand names and designer, or maybe even color. So if they see something you're wearing, they're watching how it looks on you to be able to repeat the look. So yeah, it could be a bit of a fashion thing, but there's a psychology to it. Here's a really deep dive. This is deep. when groups who use the occult or energy manipulation to target someone, they're running rituals to steal a sought-after person's essence or energy. So in this case, when doppelganging becomes serious, they are actually taking it to another level by stealing targets' garments and wearing them. And to be honest, my abuser actually is wearing my scarf in a photo, and I haven't seen that scarf in over 13 years. And I thought maybe I had lost it while traveling, but it turns out it was stolen. So, go figure. If you feel like you're the main character in The Truman Show, if you watch that movie with Jim Carrey, it looks as if everything around him is staged. If you feel like that based off of people emulating or mimicking or mocking or copying what you're doing, yes, you're in that type of a situation. A lot of the times people don't know, they think you don't know what they're doing, but you do know what they're doing, especially if this has happened to you for a long period of time. When you're dealing with jealous types who maybe hate the energy you exude or how you express yourself or the type of response you get from people, essentially in a doppelganging situation, you are unknowingly being competed with. In some cases, the law can be involved. So private investigators, police officers, law enforcement, and they're using people in your environment. Could be your colleagues, could be your boss, could be your neighbors. They are often dressed or mimicking your daily schedule or movements. This is clear evidence of this happening. With a doppelganging situation, they are pretty much pulling fragments of your identity to mock what they see, not believing you're a real person that will see and notice what they're doing. As they pull versions of you out and repeatedly use your persona for public presentation, you, the target, sees this over the course of many years. But they don't know what it means to be different versions of you. So they don't know about a developing person, a growing person, an evolving person. So that's where it becomes more obvious, because they're still stuck on maybe who they saw you to be in photo or who they thought of you on first impression meeting you in person. But that doesn't mean you'll always present that way. You're ever changing. So doppelganging starts to become more and more obvious to the target and then to people around the situation who are seeing that this program is being carried out. I call this doppelgangers or appointed lookalikes. They go the extra mile to blend in. At some point, you do know that they want to compete with you while studying many aspects of you. Does it feel weird? Yes. It does feel weird because people who could be doing this are your friends, your siblings, your parents. So I did talk about mothers and their daughters. So that can happen with mothers who kind of want to emulate or copy their daughters with jealousy or envy. Colleagues, industry peers, and even like neighborhood people. Another way that copying and mimicry is used in a way that appears camouflage from you is the way that outfits are coordinated. So fragments of your dressing style, your physical mannerisms are all recanted in a robotic method to mirror your speech and your movement. Sometimes doppelgangers go as far to match their schedule to your schedule so that they are visible to you when you leave your home. Things like synchronized walking patterns, so if they're following you from behind, or they want to be in the know of where you're headed, where you're going, where you frequent, they'll match your steps and actually walk the streets with you. Sometimes they'll stage personal encounters in public spaces just to see how you would respond and to see who you're talking to and who you know. All these techniques, in my opinion, are used to gain attention from the target and are used to garner attention from those that like or have a preference for the target as a friend, community leader, or a well-liked family member. Anyone attempting to secure the target's persona or characteristics hopes to draw the same focus and attention from the target to themselves. So what do you do when you notice this? One of my biggest pieces of advice is just to stay observant. Switch up your look. Switch up your schedule. Watch what they mimic and when they mimic. Discover if they do it to garner your attention or others' attention. See if a group mimics as a way to make you feel singled out, or see if it's just one person who does it. Watch and see how the person mimic you behaves when they're doing it. Are they smug about it? Do they want you to see them doing it? Are they laughing and snickering with others as they do it? Are they wearing an item of your clothing or something similar when they pose or present as you? Are they among many while posing as you? With this type of behavior, there is so much to unpack. As I was investigating more about copying, mimicking, spiritual issues connected to mirroring someone in a healthy situation, let's say it's like someone who's attracted to someone, mirroring might be a little different when it's genuine. You mirror someone you like, right? Or you want to show them you're interested in them, or your movements are synchronized. But when you're dealing with energy manipulation, stalking, intimidation, they study the likeness because they need it for something. So it could be energy. In some cases, I've read where manipulators study the likeness or appearance of a target to use their image and likeness and speech to teach another person to appear as someone else in court. So let's say there's a court battle, inheritance, property, anything related to money, insurance, and they're trying to get away with not having the person present in court. They'll often study the mannerisms by the use of other people so that they have recorded voice of you, video camera footage of you, or they have people who watch you so that they can teach someone else how to appear as you in court, which is wild. I've seen cases where people cosplay to help facilitate these setups that I talked about earlier. And I've explained earlier where lookalikes are even used to pin charges or crimes on innocent people. So this shit can get really out of hand. So with doppelganging, there's other elements attached to it. There's a covert competition going on by way of doppelganging and comparison through triangulation. So in some cases, you have parents comparing siblings and pitting them against the oldest, middle, or youngest child. So whoever is considered the one who everyone picks on. Sometimes doppelganging is done by employers who are seeking information about someone that works for their company, so a model employee, to look for dirt on an employee. So maybe like if other employees don't like one individual and they complain about the person, oftentimes to surveil an employee, a manager or upper management supervision will doppelgang or try to appeal to the person being targeted so that the person can feel singled out, but at the same time, it's a way for them to kind of find out more about the person by mimicking the employee. It's a strange psychological tactic, but it happens in the workplace. So what ends up happening is when they're copying you or trying to match your movements, they're trying to see if there's something that you will do differently, or if there's a way that you will behave because you see them mirroring your behavior. If a group selects a person to bully and scapegoat, they perceive the target as unreal. And so when I mean unreal, I mean unreal enough and vacant enough to withstand the abuse. In essence, you're pretty strong if you can, right? So by mimicking fragments of what they believe is fake about a person, they smear your likeness and use it as a way to insult you. This group that did this went really deep with this towards me. So they'll make fun of you while wanting to be like you. It's weird to watch them take action as you are the authentic person, but it is them who does not believe that you are authentic because the way you show up seems so superficial to them. They are in denial that you are genuine, so they pull parts of what they perceive to be your persona to gain any kind of response from others the same way they respond to you. It's weird, but this is their attempt to transfer your energy to themselves. This is why the phenomenon of doppelgangerism is very spiritual. It's a very spiritual concept. They who do this are void. If this has ever happened to you, you are full of life, ideas, vitality, power, and truth. If you like to dress well and coordinate, let's say for example, you've got the sauce, right? If you express yourself clearly, you, my friends, have the sauce. That is what they want. Use these behaviors that you notice from these types of people to assess your surroundings. You'll be able to go towards or create a safe distance when you do realize that this is what folks are capable of doing around you. Usually, once they know you know, they'll try to make it less obvious and they'll stop. They'll quietly move on to their next muse. Hope this explanation helps. For those who are enduring triangulation or comparison from a friend, family member, or group, fraternity, doppelganging can happen through comparison. So the person being put down becomes livid and competitive. So they begin to take their frustration out on you, the target. This is what I mean by, let me explain why doppelganging is dangerous. When someone is using another person to go up against the target, they're constantly telling this person, you're not good enough, you're not attractive, you don't look like this person, you're not smart as this person, you don't know how to do anything, you should look more like this person. Sometimes actually all the time, whatever they're saying isn't true. But they want to use that person as a tool to come after you. This is dangerous because this is when stalking online happens. This is where online tracking happens. This is where group dynamics and animosity starts to happen. If you have a problem with someone you are being compared to, please pause, listen to what they're telling you, go within. Your lack of confidence and the person who's making you think you should be more like the target is the problem. You don't need to be like anyone else. You don't need to be like anyone else except yourself, on or off camera. For those who mock and copy, it isn't funny. You're not hidden. And eventually, everyone finds out. Thank you.